We are here as the members of the Oversight Committee to discuss two issues, that is the Devolution Conference going on in Elidoret and also the Public Benefits Organization Act 2013. At the civil society, we want to raise reservation 1 because these devolution conferences have become like political spaces for various leaders to go and play politics and address rallies. And you find that the issues that are actually affecting devolution are put behind the banner. For example, if you go to many counties, their websites, you realize that there are not even documents that are required for public participation. For example, if you go to some of the websites, we don't have CIDP, we don't have the annual development plans, even the finance bills are not there. Yet the law is very clear that these documents are very critical in public participation. So what we are saying is that we have not had that being discussed in Elidoret. We have not had those issues being ventilated upon. Instead, we are seeing political leaders going there to settle their political scores. If you go to some counties, for example, in Migori County, last year we were surprised that the county announced that they are calling for views on annual development plan, yet they didn't have even CIDP. That is a situation that happens in most of the countries. And what we are saying is that these are the issues that ought to have been discussed in Elidoret, and not to discuss who won elections or who lost elections, because those ones are not helping Kenyans. The Devolution Conference should be an accountability conference where the county governments are coming to report what has happened. That can't happen when it is still being organized by the same governors, the Council of Governors, who should be held accountable and the ones who are organizing this. Right now, what we are proposing as a sector is that we need to change our laws so that such forums should be organized by the citizens' assemblies, so that the governors can come there to give reports. But the governors cannot report to themselves. You can't organize a meeting to report about what you have done and then report yourself. 2 years ago, Kenya and IMF reached an agreement that the county governments and the parastatals can now borrow directly from IMF. That is very dangerous because some of these counties don't have systems in place. Some of these counties don't even hold accountability forums. So when these county governments are allowed to borrow funds, then we discuss a situation whereby the debt bill will be so high, because you find that in most counties we don't have strong networks of organizations or citizen movement to hold them to account. So we want the government to reconsider that. We want to tell the president that in 2013, former President Mwai Kibaki signed into law the Public Benefits Organization Act 2013. Since then, 10 years later, the act has not been commenced. And this act is an act that is going to ensure that there's self-regulation in the civil society sector. What we're asking the President of the Republic of Kenya is that, one, now that you have said that Mwai Kibaki was your mentor, please, President Mwai Kibaki signed the PBO Act into law. Being your mentor, kindly ensure that you commence this law so that the civil society sector can be robust and start operating as per the law. We're also saying that the PBO Act currently is domiciled under the Security or Internal Security Ministry or the Interior Ministry. That amounts to securitization of or militarization of the PBO Act. We want the implementation of that PBO Act, once it's commenced, to be taken back to where it was, which was the Ministry of Devolution.
Part of what we have as that would have wanted to see being discussed in the Devolution Conference is access to information, which is particularly very important to the public. We realize that some of the counties tend to believe that the budget documents are actually not public. And that means that whenever they are developed, they need to be publicized. And there are laws and regulations under the PFM Act that stipulates, one, timeliness, and two, when they should be, of course, uploaded in the websites, and we are talking about the public websites, the county websites and the national and the county assemblies website. We need to see this happening because in as much as we want to have public participation, we cannot have effective and meaningful public participation if these documents have not been uploaded to the sites. So this is one thing that we need to see. We are borrowing, but then how do we manage this borrowing? Do we continue borrowing when we do not have structures on how are we going to pay this? We would want to see a government that also has structures, enabling structures and policies that are ensuring that as we borrow, we are also able to pay you look at the PMF Act and it gives governance structure in terms of even public participation. But most of the counties at the end of the day will bring a document to us as public because they just want to bring the document. And at this point they're bringing the document, the public is not aware of anything that is the content of this document. We would want to see the law being followed where the public is able to have this document at their hands and they're able to view and scrutinize this document prior to public participation so that they can have effective public participation.
We are disappointed that we could have achieved much more if there was integrity in the work that is supposed to be done by the county governments. We are disappointed that we are closing in on to the end of the transfer of functions from the national government to the county governments. But then there are those functions that have not been transferred. We are disappointed that finances or funds that are supposed to be allocated to go alongside with the functions are not being provided as required. We're also calling on the county governments to stop the corruption that has been devolved to the county governments.
We are in the third phase of implementing the devolved function of government, yet we are talking about amendment of the Constitution, yet we've not even held an audit review on the implementation of the Constitution. Another thing, we are talking about amendment of the Constitution, yet all the functions have not been implemented as per the schedules of the Constitution and timelines that were given. So this is first, we need to stop there and check onto the duplications of policies and laws that brings a lot about the wage bill. Another thing, when I come to budget and public participation, many counties, if you can check, they have the CBEF, the County Budget Economic Forums, that are not functional or are there just to rubber stamp. One thing we want to call upon the Council of Governors and the county governments, can we put these systems and structures in place so that citizens can get avenues and platforms of engagement? Secondly, sectoral working groups. Most counties come up with the budget making processes without following the due process as it is laid in the Public Finance Management Act. So that is my challenge to them from the CSRG point of view, and that is our voice. Can we put systems and structures for meaningful engagement of the citizens?
Kanyaga, kanyaga, na sote tuko tayari. Ikija kando yako, kanyaga.